Building Brands podcast is dedicated to exploring the journeys of industry leaders who have successfully built a brand. Join Building Brands Marketing, a marketing agency that has successfully scaled multiple brands, as we dive deep into the strategies, challenges, and insights that have shaped the success of industry leaders and provide you with the resources you need to do the same. Building Brands Marketing is a full-service marketing agency specializing in crafting customized marketing strategies for service-based businesses with the creative powerhouse to drive real results. Welcome to the Building Brands Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Building Brands Podcast. My name is Braden Popp, the host of today's episode in the Policy and Profit series. And today on the call, I am pleased to welcome Michael Ell, who is with Wisedollar Insurance. Michael, thank you so much for coming on the show.
I'm happy to do it. Excited to be here, and yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and jump right into it then. I kind of want to go back to the beginning. You know, I think you mentioned in our first conversation that you had started in accounting for a little bit. That wasn't for you, but I want to kind of come back to the beginning, how you found yourself in insurance and what led you to start your own agency under the Wisedollar brand.
Yeah, in fact, that's my master's of accounting above that shoulder. I guess it's like the devil and the angel. I'm not quite sure which one it is. But yeah, I started off as an accountant. Quite frankly, I realized quickly enough that I was mediocre at best at it. But I did find my way into healthcare finance, and healthcare really excited me. One, because everybody needs it. It's a fairly recession-proof industry. And so I thought this would be a great track. Worked my way in that organization, worked my way up, moved around the United States, taking on different projects. And working in healthcare gave me a sense of pride and gave me a sense of accomplishment, and not only accomplishment for just money, but really an accomplishment that I'm making the community better. Right. So fast forward, you know, I'm working on these benefit plans and these projects, and working on for large insurance carriers, state Medicaid projects, and you know, I always had my friends and family come and ask me insurance questions. And all sorts of insurance questions, not just health insurance, but, hey, how does this work? What's this? When they put this in a contract, should I be worried about this? And then my grandmother got sick. And this is really the catalyst that got me to start the Wisedollar company. My grandmother was a sprightly 95-year-old woman, and then she wasn't. And everyone thinks, you know what? One day I'm just going to get a little tired. I'm going to lay down in bed. I'll pass away. And unfortunately, that's not really the case. What happened with her, decline was rapid, but it wasn't towards death. It was just her ADLs, or activities of daily living. And that really prevented her from living that full life she had enjoyed before. The problem was she hadn't really been prepared. She had bought burial insurance instead of long-term care insurance. There are a lot of different mistakes made that, knowing what I know now, I would have completely guided her in a different direction. And thankfully, my family had the means to take care of her in her final years, but not everybody's does. And quite frankly, do you really want that to happen to your family? And so it got me thinking, hey, all these skills, all this knowledge, everything I can do for large companies, large organizations, health systems, why don't I help out small businesses, individuals, like I have my family and friends, and take it to another level and see if I can't make a little bit of a career out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. And I appreciate you sharing that personal connection. So it really comes from a place where you had a personal encounter and you're like, man, I can really go back into the community and help my community, navigate this very confusing market for a lot of people as well. They don't understand everything. I don't know if you want to touch on that at all, how difficult it is for people to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many different industry terms. There are so many different complexities and layers. And honestly, it's done out of both necessity, because quite frankly, insurance can be complicated because of all the various variables, um, all of the changes that can occur, or the instances that might trigger an event, or uh, a way for the policy to pay out. But that's not something a teacher or a plumber or a hairstylist should have to learn, because
Right.
becoming an expert in a field like that is really, it's a full-time job. And quite frankly, I don't part of my problem with the industry was I found a lot of quick sales. Hey, if you buy now, I can do this. Oh, follow-up calls that are really pesky and awful. And quite frankly, insurance is one of those things that you use at a really terrible time in your life. One, you don't want to pay for it, because one, you don't expect to need to use it, because you don't expect bad things to happen. And if you do, well, it's if you are expecting something bad to happen, it's obviously not something you still want to go through. And being prepared is so important when it comes to health, life, uh, your home, your auto, all the things insurance protects. And you spend that money, and you just see it going out of your account every single day. But when you need it, you want someone, one, to have guided you in the right direction, so you have the right product to help you out in your time of need. And two, you want to make sure that you have someone by your side to walk you through this entire process.
Absolutely. I think that that's critical because when I worked in insurance, one of the things I encountered a lot was people would have had a policy and they think that they're covered, and oftentimes they're not. And so I think taking that approach of making sure people from the beginning, having that conversation, building that relationship with them, and knowing their needs and their life situation, you can
Yeah,
bring that expertise to them and provide them with, the right information that they need.
absolutely. It really is about being a teacher. And funny enough, I actually teach healthcare finance, and I've been doing that for, my goodness, over a decade now. And part of that role is to teach individuals who do not have a finance background about healthcare finance. It's a part of the, I'd say, like healthcare administrators, or people who are interested in the healthcare business, maybe from an operational side, but they don't want to get into the nitty gritty of how a hospital gets paid, or how insurance works, or and part of that role is to really break this stuff down into bite-sized pieces, into layman's terms, and it really helps me in my efforts. Not that I get all professorial and I know more than you and this is the right thing to do. It's like, hey, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me what's going on in your life. What are your concerns? What can I do to help? I'll give you a few options. And from there, it's entirely up to you whether you want to, one, purchase, or two, you have follow-up questions, or three, you want to be patient. You have no idea how many times somebody will come to me, ask me 1,000 questions. I'll have 4 meetings with somebody, and then 2 years later, they come back and they're like, well, I think my small business is finally ready to offer employee benefits. I'm like, all right, great. Let's get this thing started. And that to me is a testament to our practices, that one, we do not hammer you with calls, so I've got to call you 6 times in 14 days. If I feel that would be useful for you, we might, but for the most part, it's not. We'll send a few texts, a few emails, we'll call 2 or 3 times. After that, we put you on our mailing list and just remind you once or twice a month that we're still in business and happy to help. And that kind of trust is so hard to get in this industry, because it is about quick sales, at least in individual products. I'd say business side, people understand that there's a longer game, or a longer play,
Right.
when you're insuring businesses. But even then, they will constantly look just buy, buy, buy. If somebody calls you on the phone and you don't know them and you buy insurance from them, how well do you think they were able to understand your real needs and who you are as a person? And
Right.
to me is how you get good insurance, is
Hmm.
having someone who takes the time to learn about you, learn about your situation, and realize that you're a person, not just a commission statement.
No, absolutely. And I think that ties into my next question for you. So your ability to understand your consumer, your prospects, and go out and be in the community, be involved, learn about them and care about them. How does that translate into your marketing messaging? How have you kind of established your consistent messaging across different channels? What has your I guess how have you established that consistent messaging across your marketing efforts?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something I remember being in business school and thinking marketing, accounting is the real knowledge of business. It's the real language of business, like Warren Buffett said. Marketing is for dum-dums. Wow, was I wrong? Because when I started Wisedollar, I had an idea, but I will tell you, I've leaned on so many great vendors and people and other small businesses. I'm just going to shout out Jolly Creative for my website. I'm going to shout out Anna Lamson from the And Agency. And they both have been instrumental in helping me really define the message and get it honed in and pinpointed. And look, there have been learning, boy, there have been some lessons and some serious learning curves throughout this entire process. The cool thing is that each step taught me a little bit more, taught me how to not only be a good person, which is literally our motto at Wise Dollar, is be a good person. But it also taught me how to present that to the public in a way that resonates without being really prescribed or filtered. I think it's important. I started realizing how important it is for me to actually go out and start, making some videos, just posting online and talking about this stuff. And at first I thought, oh, I better be buttoned up with a tie and have a professional lighting in the studio. And everybody's like, no, like literally just if you think of something, pull out your camera in your tank top while you're doing yard work and talk about whatever topic you think is important. And so there's an authenticity to it. And the marketing, I mean, when we designed the logo, for instance, like, look, we're here in Arizona. We're an Arizona company. Our logo has basically what looks like mirror images of mountains in between Wisedollar, or on top and below Wisedollar Insurance. And the idea being is that, one, it resonates to the peaks and valleys that come with insurance, and insurance is right there in the middle to keep things whole. And then the imagery should help people understand that this is our community. We are here. Same with the copper coloring, and it's all about those the old copper mines out east here in Arizona, as well as just the color of like the sunsets and the sand in the area. So there are some of those specific details we got into when coming up with the Wisedollar brand. And honestly, Wisedollar, I would think it was about the 25th name I Googled, and I was like, oh, good, somebody doesn't have this. And I like it. It had the two components, wise, like a sage or a mentor, and then dollar, because quite frankly, nobody likes paying for insurance, and then it's always too expensive, right? So, when it comes to that branding, I think one, surrounding yourself with good people, creating and defining that message, and don't be scared to get very niche. I mean, unless you've got 17 million and PE backing you, I guess you could just pay for a lot of Google searches, right? I mean, go for it, but be real clear in your messaging.
Right.
the Bob Shepard was an announcer. He was a public address announcer for the New York Yankees for like 50 years. Passed away like, I don't know, 15 years ago. And Derek Jeter, every time he went to bat, he never allowed the new public address announcer to let everybody know he was coming to bat. He'd just play a recording of Bob Shepard. And Bob Shepard had a phrase, look, he's not really excitable. He's not that modern guy. He was very just clear, concise, correct. And for me, I added something to that, and that's consistency. And really, those 4 C's are what we use here to help guide us in not only just the marketing, but really how we operate and how we work with our clients as a whole. It really is almost a mission statement outside of be a good person. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like that, and I love the different story. Are you a Yankees fan, or how did you come across that? I'm curious.
I'm a baseball nerd. Me and my 2 best friends are big baseball fans. And matter of fact, one of them is he's worked in professional baseball for almost 20 years. So it's always fun to put on my golf polo and head down to the scouting section, pretend I know what I'm looking at, and have him laugh at my notes after 9 innings and be like, "You have no idea what you were looking at." So,
hey, but you can pretend, right? You can go right there and pretend like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe absolutely. Yeah. So that story always resonated with me, and I've taken it to heart.
I love that. You did touch on one thing that I know I kind of wanted to dive a little bit deeper into. You mentioned that you've used third-party resources. A lot of agencies are hesitant to do that, and they're scared to do that. In my opinion, rightfully so. It's very hard to find someone that you can trust with your brand and with your business, either to build your website, to do any portion of your marketing campaign. It's very difficult to know, okay, where should I invest, and what should I be doing, right? So how have you navigated kind of, finding people that you trust, and then what has been your experience working with third parties? Have you had only positive experience? Has there been any negative experiences there, or what has that looked like?
Sure. So yes, always negative experiences. However, we'll get to that in a second. My father told me I remember this was in the 90s. I'm a teenager, and he had mentioned that Bill Clinton was president at the time. And he had mentioned that Bill Clinton had a Rolodex. And so for everybody under the age of 40, what a Rolodex was imagine note cards that were stacked in a circle. So it was a way for you to basically have a notebook on your desk that you would flip through, and it'd be alphabetized, and you would have people's contact information written on these index cards. And the Rolodex went back to his college days. This man kept names and phone numbers and addresses of people he went to college with, people he had met forever and always. And so the process almost begins in your young adult life. Now, I'm not saying if you didn't do this from the age of 18, you'll never be successful. No, but the idea is that one, you meet people. You got to go and hang out with different people. Sometimes I go to these social events and no, I don't want to be there. I want to hang out with my wife and eat Cheetos on the couch. It's more about going and introducing yourself and getting out in the community. And when you're able to be social like that and get in front of people, it gives you all 5. Well, shouldn't use all 5 senses to meet people, but it gives you that visual. It gives you that tactile, that handshake or the hug or the high five. You get a sense of a person's character much better in person. And I have spent decades socializing, and getting to know people like that gave me this large network of individuals to lean on and trust. So when I had a question about the website, and I got a referral for it, I knew immediately that I was heading in the right direction.
Right.
The business owners now, and I'm not even kidding. Like, get to know your competition. I actually would love to get to meet more. As a matter of fact, that's something I plan on doing this year and next year, is really working and socializing more with other small insurance firms in the area and joining some of those resourced, some of those groups here in Arizona to indulge in those resources, because one, you can learn from them. Two, you never know how you can end up being connected for good, and whether that's mergers or whether that's, hey, I got a client I can't service, do you think you can help them out, working with them a little closer. So the idea is, when I have these vendors, so this is a long way to get to this. When I have these vendors, and I can tell immediately, usually within 2 or 3 phone calls, if I've got somebody who's going to do a good job for me. Now, I'm say about 89% of the time I'm pretty good. I'm B plus, let's say, high B plus average. 1 out of 10 slips through. I'd say, it's not a good experience. But once you have somebody in the corner you can trust, and you're spending good money, the output is going to be there. So, in short, yeah, you might be scared to build up your website, but quite frankly, if somebody's looking you up online, I can tell you right now, if your website is garbage, there's not a chance I'm doing business with you. Quite frankly, I don't know if I could trust you. Is it a real business? This thing looks like a GeoCities website from 2002. I can't tell if they're even still in business. So, little attention to detail like that can really help you out. And quite frankly, I think it's just a matter of learning how to trust people and letting go of that control. And honestly, it's paid off dividends.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So, kind of continuing on with a couple of questions here. Moving into from messaging, so you have a good understanding of messaging. You kind of use other third parties to help build your website, different tactics. But what tactics in particular have worked best for you? Especially, I kind of want to dive into more of a local messaging strategy. I know for your business in particular, that's been something that's important. Is implementing that messaging strategy in a local manner. So what tactics have been most effective for you in implementing that strategy?
Yeah. So one, realizing that having a local presence is the best way to build your business. I think we've really leaned into that from an SEO standpoint, almost so much that I'm hoping my clients in Hawaii and Massachusetts and Florida don't think like I only do business in Scottsdale at this point. But we're really starting to lean into that. And part of the idea is, I'm here. If you want to hang out, I got an office 5 minutes from where I live. If we don't need to worry about time zones. You want to go have coffee with me? Great. I could take you out to lunch, say thank you for doing business with me. It's that interconnectedness with the local, the local community. That's really, how I started this business. And I don't mean that from a geographic standpoint. I mean that from a large network. We had talked about that before. Having that large network of individuals who I basically just went out and said, hey, I started this business, just let you know, and post about it sometimes on my personal social media, etc. Next thing I know, I got people reaching out to me within that community, people who know me from whether it's the gym or church or college, whatever it is, and they reach out and ask me questions about insurance. Does it always lead to a sale? Absolutely not. But they know I'm here and this is what I can do. And so bringing that into the Scottsdale community as a whole to people who, quite frankly, I don't know, is important. And, my wife and I, this is a team effort. I can't say enough about how great Drea has been to not only me personally, but to this business. It's because she's always like, no, let's go. No, no, no. I know. Yep. Yep. Time to put on the dress. Yep. There we go. We're heading out the door. We're doing this. We'll bring the baby. Ray will think she's cute. Um, and so it's really allowed me to, yeah,
You
yeah, I
probably
know. Yeah.
you just bring him out and like, hey, here's my baby. Oh, I want to work with you now. I know I can trust
Yeah.
you.
5-month-old getting an insurance license because I'd really like to pay her some commission. Um,
Right.
so but all kidding aside, it really is. But that's who I am. That's my family.
Mm.
That is what I'm about. And when you're in a local environment, just um, and and you never want to be salesy about it, or
Mm.
don't show up. I mean, yeah, okay, I wear some swag. I'll wear like one of the Wisedollar golf polos around, and but I don't sit there and just like, hey guys, you know what I do for work? I did insurance, insurance, insurance. It's a real quick way for people to be like, I never want to talk to this person again. So you never make it about business. You always make it about people. People first,
Mm.
profit will follow. It has worked for me time and time again. Continues to work. I do have other business ventures. I'm working on. Wisedollar is paying the mortgage, but I'm working on some other things like with my brother-in-law as well. But that principle is carrying over to that uh, uh, throughout all uh, businesses that I'm working on and I want to be a part of, because without that community, you really don't have much. You kind of have some revenue that hopefully you can flip to a larger soulless corporation. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm not putting a value statement on that, but that's not necessarily what I'm all about. So, those efforts really come down to two things in summary, and that's great website, good web presence and SEO, and getting out there with the high fives and handshakes and hugs. And everything else, I think, as far as a marketing strategy, I don't know. I not really sure that's for me. I'll put it that way.
No, for sure. I understand where you're coming from completely. I think really in most industries, like from a marketing agency perspective, if I'm working with a business owner that's not doing those things, not putting themselves out in the community, they're not going and shaking hands, it's going to be a lot harder for us to do our job too. If
Yeah,
we're just
yeah.
focusing on SEO or if we're just focusing on social media, Google ads, whatever it may be, if you're not putting your name out there, I mean, yes, we can get you leads, but it's going to be harder for those to convert if people don't trust you or have that connection or a name recognition in any capacity.
Well, that's it. And yeah, I mean, I see this throughout all industry really. Um, brother-in-law does textiles. Think his sales guy, I mean, he's out and about.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guy has MS. He's in a wheelchair at all these conferences. What, do you think that
Mm-hmm.
prevents him from going? No, he's out there. And is he the actual sales guy? No, he's got people that do that for him now. But if it's your company, I mean, it's your company.
Right.
This whole idea of this whole passive investment uh, craze that I've seen since COVID occurred
Mm-hmm.
has really been interesting to me, because yeah, I mean, it's a good idea when you have a wide portfolio of businesses, or a lot of different income streams, and yeah, if you want to just make some money, quick buck, sure, but that isn't as fun to me as an entrepreneur. I want to be a little bit more involved. So you know, uh, to each their own at the end of the day. But really, if you really want to make something, really build a business, or really have that awesome feeling that comes from the brand awareness, the development, and the saturation of that brand into the market, it's really cool to be out there doing it yourself as well.
So I guess for Wise Dollar, you built it up up to this point, what's your goal on the horizon? Are you looking to expand in Arizona primarily, expand nationally? What's the
Yeah.
long-term goal, and how are you planning on getting there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just want to sell as much insurance as I can, and then I'm going to sell to a big company now.
Right.
Just kidding. Yeah, totally opposite of everything I've said the last half hour. No, really, I mean, obviously, growth here in Arizona is the top priority for us right now. We have signed a few lead contracts, some exclusive leads from some national brands. Can't disclose it yet because the contract doesn't technically go live for a minute, but uh, so the primary focus is Arizona. However, like I said, my network of friends, family, professional colleagues, and connections spans the world and all over the United States. Now, we don't sell insurance outside of the U.S. right now, so the goal is to just make sure we grow in the state of Arizona, regionally and nationally. But I'll tell you what, if we continue to grow like this in Florida and somehow in the Northeast, I sure I had no idea we were so popular in Massachusetts. But yeah, let's do it. Like, let's go. I'm all about this. And so when you have a when you have a plan, don't pretend like you have to stick to it. So I have this plan to take this brand national, of course, with Arizona roots. That's fine. And the doesn't mean I have to change the color. I've got branding ideas and I've got business names that we could pivot to should we want to move up in the market to like large employers and whatnot. But for right now, I really think Wisedollar has resonated well enough that this message would play well in all 50 states. So uh, it's um, it's taking the business not necessarily where you want it to go, but where the market wants it to go. And so, this is the thing with the 5-year plan is I love making them. I'm very much a forward thinker, but I am also very aware that that plan is heading towards the bin 90% of the time because
Yeah.
something else pops up. There's new product offerings. I mean, if you had told me when I first started this that we would have a property and casualty division, I would
Mm.
have laughed at you, being like, I don't, what are we gonna do property and casualty? I thought the focus was going to be, health and life, and nope. And here we are. So, and and there we go. To just give you an idea of what the brand looks like, 5 years later. It's really exciting. So next 5 years, uh, I'd love to tell you I have the perfect outlay and perfect plan, but it really is just doing a year over year analysis and saying, hey, what's working and where are we going to grow from here? But I certainly can tell you that I've had private equity and large insurance companies approach me already. I probably get one of those emails once a month, and uh, I have been somewhat snarky with some people who won't leave it alone, saying, okay, how about $10 billion? And
Mm.
let's put it this way, we're not valued at 10 billion even close. But at a certain point, you just got to say, look, man, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing right now. I don't want to sell. I don't want to have to report to anybody else. I think the mission is good. The product is good. And until I get tired of this, can't see that happening. I'm definitely not planning on going anywhere, and I really want to see how far this can go.
No, I love that. And that bring it back to a sports analogy or a sports quote. One of my favorite coaches is Nick Saban. He would
Mhm.
always say, focus on the process, don't focus on the outcome. And it sounds like that's kind of the approach you're taking. You're in it right now
Yeah,
and you're enjoying it. So focus on
yeah,
right now. Um, and from a marketing perspective, that's kind of the approach we take too. In a lot of ways, so all of our clients, um, we analyze on a consistent basis. So we're analyzing everything on a month-to-month basis. Typically for campaigns, you want to at least give it 3 months to see if it's going to be a worthwhile tactic. Then you double down on it or you cut it. And we're consistently kind of making those recommendations for our clients. And I think that's really the only way you can do it, because the market's changing so fast right now.
Hmm.
Everything is
Yeah.
just different. One marketing tactic 1 month or 1 year is going to work great, and then the next year you're going to have to do something completely different to keep relevant. And so it's an ever-changing market, and that's just no different in insurance now. A
Right.
lot of the only thing in insurance I will say that's always seemingly consistent is the relational aspect of it. I think that always is going to be there, and people are going to value that consistently.
Mhm.
Now, and there's people who are trying to cut that out, right? Some of the larger names are trying to cut that out, but I do think relationship at the end of the day will always win.
Absolutely. I mean, for as much as I hear the talk of AI taking over certain things, and the white collar uh, job market is going to disappear. And hey, look, there might be some of that, but in the end of the day, I still truly believe that human connection is going to be important. It's literally something we have to have in order to be mentally and physically healthy. So having a tool, sure, great, but like AI, I'm not completely scared that it's going to be. Oh, I've seen these ads. Believe it or not, somebody's already trying to say we have a fully AI insurance sales agent. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is there anything that goes against my brand identity more? And I'm not interested in trying to shave 5 minutes off of the sales process to squeeze in a few more sales, right? There are always going to be people who want to do it themselves, who don't want to necessarily interact with someone else, no matter what that is. But you're right, like those relationships, those connections, the human interaction, people prefer it. We saw what happened during the pandemic. People couldn't wait to get back out, get in front of their families, get back to their colleagues. I mean, the whole remote work idea that this is the wave of the future. I mean, we see all the companies now and even small businesses, hey, we've got at least a hybrid policy where you're in the office 3 days a week. And it's really good to build camaraderie and connection with not only your colleagues, but clients and your community as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm maybe I'm just an extrovert that is being a little too
Too
a
excited
little
about
too
it. No, I think you're
gregarious right now. Uh,
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you
yeah,
so much, Mike, for
absolutely.
coming today. I really enjoyed it. It was great talking to you. Great getting to know you throughout this whole
Thank you.
process. And
Yeah.
people find you online. Where can people get in touch with you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So wisedollarinsurance.com is the website. Always a great resource. Wise Dollar Knows, and that's not nose as the body part, that's KNOWS. So Wise Dollar Knows, pretty much on all the social platforms. And yeah, I'd say that's the best way to get a hold of us. And hopefully give us a follow, reach out if you have questions, ever any hard sales. We insure everything and everyone and everything. So, even NIL deals
Oh,
for
wow.
those. Yeah. So if you've got a college athlete who's worried about losing the deal from getting injured, there are disability policies out there for that kind of stuff. So we've we can do it here. I love it.
Name it and you got it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michael. We really appreciate it.